Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Daniel, and today in this video we'll be covering a chess.com training game I played recently. So I was playing the white pieces, and let's look at what happened. So d4, e6, c4, d5, initiating the queen's gambit decline. After knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, all pretty common. However, the only thing is this line with a6, b5 typically only happens after white has played the move bishop to d3, because then d takes c4 and bishop takes c4 makes white waste the move pretty much. And then you can play b5 and then white is forced to come back with bishop d3. Whereas in this position, sort of white only has to move their bishop twice instead of 3 times. Bishop b7, castles, queen e2. Here, e4 at some point, rook a to c1, rook f to d1, and then sort of white's rooks are going to situate on these two files here. h6, bishop captures. Here I play rook f to d1, castles. I place my knight into this nice square on e4. Bishop e7, rook a to c1, rook a to c8. I put my knight on this nice square on c5. So in the future, something like this could happen. I have bishop h7 threats here, and I can play c6 at some point, for example. In the game, rook b8 was played, defending this bishop here on b7. Here I play the move a4, which isn't the best. Better would be knight captures on b7, because after rook takes, now I can play the move bishop to b1, setting up some queen c2 ideas to line up on this diagonal and go for h7. However, here I just play the move a4, trying to soften up the queenside structure here that's been a bit overextended. Knight takes, pawn takes, setting up bishop h7 here because my rook is now going to be open to the queen. Queen to e8 here. Play pawn takes. Here I'm going to win a pawn. Pawn takes, and here I play the move knight to d4. Because I realize here bishop captures on b5 is a possibility. However, here there is bishop captures on f3, counterattacking my queen and opening up another attacker on this bishop. If I play bishop captures on e8, then there's bishop captures on e2, rook d2, let's say. And after something like rook captures on e8, and here rook captures on e2, you'll see that I'm actually down a bishop in this variation. And alternatively, if I capture with the queen, let's say, then I can simply lose this bishop for free. So here I play knight to d4 first, getting out of the way of this bishop and also attacking this pawn again. Here's c6, and here I play the move b4. The idea with b4 is sort of to lock in this bishop, which you'll see this bishop is locked in behind its own 2 pawns. So, and also this kingside structure here doesn't really favor black either, because it blocks in black's bishop even if it goes bishop to c8. Alternatively, if you play bishop c8, I can probably attack it again with queen f3 and bishop to e4. So here my opponent plays bishop f6. Here I play the move bishop to e4, getting out of the way of this rook to protect this knight, so that after bishop captures on d4, which is what my opponent played, here I can play rook captures on d4, and I can play rook d6, queen f3, and etc. So bishop e4, bishop takes, rook takes, and here queen e7. I play queen f3 first, targeting c6. Here rook f to c8, and here I double up the rooks. My idea is to go rook to d6 here, and there is no rook d8 to swap off all the rooks, because here I can simply play something like bishop captures on c6, because this rook here used to protect the c6 pawn. So here rook c7, here I drop my rook into this nice square on d6. Here queen e8 was played, and here I play the move g4. The reason why I played g4 is to mainly prevent the move f5, which would be a bit annoying because then my bishop has to get kicked back, and then if I play g4, then there is the move g6, which supports this f5 square and prevents my bishop from being able to go to e4, which is why I played g4. And rook a8, and here I play the move h4. Because if I already played g4, I might as well go for some type of an attack, because what I've realized is that on the queen side front, I've already solved all my problems. In fact, I'm winning on the queen side already, mainly because of this bad bishop as well as this backward c6 pawn. In the center, I'm also winning. I have the open file. So now the only thing left to do is to win on the king side. The king side is relatively stagnant, so I want to win there as well. If I'm winning on all 3 sides, at some point there is bound to be a breakthrough. Here queen to e7. I side my queen at g3, protect h4, and also defend this rook here on d6, and also put a bit of pressure here on the c7 rook. So if the queen does stop defending it, maybe there's some tricks with like rook d8 and I'm able to win the rook in the future. Queen f6. Here I play the move g5. Here there is no rook d8 to win this rook, because this queen is also defending the d8 square, and this would be losing in fact. So g5 takes. This opens up the h file. So now I can maybe, you'll see later on here, I play g6 first, and then I'm going to play king g2 and rook h1, and sort of transfer my pieces over here on the h file and try to go for checkmate. So here f5 was played after g6, and the reason why I played g6 is mainly so that after g6, the king's flight squares are taken. You'll see that this g-pawn does a really nice job of taking the king's flight squares from the 7th rank, so it's only the 8th rank squares that are available for the king. So eventually, at some point, I can even maybe play rook d8, checkmate at some point. So here I played bishop f3, just getting out of the way of the f-pawn. Here rook to c8. Here I play king g2. I'm ready to play my rook into h1. Here king f1 was played. I still play rook h1 anyway, because rook h8 is still a threat. Here queen f6, getting out of the way to play king to e7. And here I need to find the correct winning plan, and I find it with the best move, rook to d4. The idea is I want to transfer my queen into the d6 square. Because, for example, let's say bishop h6, then here I can simply play rook h8 check. After king to e7, here I can play queen to d6, and this is in fact checkmate. Because the rook cuts off the back rank, this pawn controls f7, and all the other squares are controlled by the queen. So this was sort of the plan with rook d4, is to sort of switch the attacker. Instead of the rook, now it's going to be the queen. And the only way to prevent this is with the move e5. And after e5 here, I noticed that, okay, so this pawn, it can't go backwards, however my rook can. So now my rook goes back to d6, and this is really deadly, because the queen is really short on squares. The only square it has that's not attacked is e7. However, we've covered that if the queen is on e7, then rook h8 would be checkmate. This is sort of like a back rank checkmate of some sort, because the queen and the pawn block in the king's escape squares, and the pawn on g6 covers the f7 square. So basically here, black has to give up the queen for the rook. So king e7 here, rook takes, king takes. Here I play queen h4 check, attacking the king. I'm not worried about after king takes g6, because there's bishop h5. After king h7, there's bishop f7, which is just simply checkmate, because this bishop acting like the pawn on g6 cuts off the king's squares on the g file. So here after queen h5 check, king to e6 was played, and here I strike in the center with the move e4. If you take, then I can play bishop g5 check, and mate will follow soon after. And if I want, I can also take the rook on c8. So instead, here rook to f8 was played, and here I play pawn captures here. If you take with the rook, I can play bishop g4 pinning. And if you play king takes, this looks really, really risky. There's actually a mate in 6 here, in fact, with rook d1. And then here I can play bishop g4, and the two diagonals are both cut off, and then it will soon be checkmate. So here king to d7 was played. Here I play bishop to g4, threatening f6 check, which is discovered. And the king is actually out of squares. If you play king e8, which is possible, here I can just play rook d1, and then I can threaten the rook d8 checkmate. So this is something you don't want to go for. So here my opponent plays rook f6, blocking this pawn. However, here I find a very nice way to simplify. Queen h8 is the quickest way to win technically with a mate in 3. However, due to low time, I find a very nice way to simply send this into an endgame where I'm up a queen with the move queen captures on f6. After pawn takes, here I play rook h7 check, my opponent plays king to c8, rook takes, king takes, and here simply after g7, my opponent ended up running out of time here, but they could also resign at this point, seeing as this bishop, which I locked in a long time ago, is still stuck, and this pawn on g7 will next move become a queen, at which point I'll mop up these two pawns and then make the f-pawn into a queen, or I'll simply go for checkmate, one or the other. So yeah, I would say very nice game, very smooth game. Some nice positional things, slowly transferring my knight in, as you see here, and then combining with a bit of tactical flair here and there, with the bishop h7 ideas attacking the queen, and then here able to lock in sort of this bishop here on b7, which ends up being really, really bad. You see basically on move 8, this bishop came here on b7, and until the very end of the game on move 45, this bishop had not moved for the rest of the game. It was stuck here behind these two pawns that were induced basically in the middle game. So this bishop basically was stuck behind these two pawns for a good 30-something moves. And I'm pretty happy with the fact that I was able to restrict it so well. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed this game. Very nice positional game, combined with some attacking flair, noticing that I was already winning on the queen side and in the center, and just had to break through on the king side. which I ended up doing, and you'll see here I'm about to get a queen. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed this game, and thanks for watching.